Now, you must have come across the word bias, especially when talking about a decision or opinion that was considered unfair. But first, what exactly is a bias? What are some common examples and situations where biases get the better of us? Are all biases good or are they bad? And how exactly do we understand biases so we know when to be on the lookout for them? This and more coming up. According to research, an adult brain makes about 35,000 decisions a day, and in the last 5 seconds you probably decided to skip this video, then almost immediately decided to keep watching, and maybe you decided to blink, yawn, did you touch your neck, did you grab your phone, did you start thinking of something nice that you were craving to eat, did you start thinking about what you're thinking actually? In short, at every given second, thousands of thoughts are going through your mind to scan for threats and look for friends. And if the brain was to dedicate the same amount of rational thinking to analyze each thought, then if you ask me, it's gonna crash. So in order to reduce the load, the brain uses some shortcuts to simplify the complexity of the processes to arrive at satisfactory results, and mostly this process is unconscious. So we hardly even realize our brain just pulled a quick one on us. These shortcuts are also known as biases or heuristics, and although they may help us to arrive at satisfactory conclusions, these conclusions are usually misguided or flawed. Several types of biases exist, but I'll just quickly run through the most common and give some examples. Availability bias. This is the tendency to make decisions based on thoughts or ideas that are readily available to us, while ignoring other possibilities which may not be immediately available. Now, ever wonder why you could go to a restaurant and look through the menu 5 times and end up choosing the same meal you always eat at a restaurant? Yeah, that is the availability bias creeping up on you. Now, when you're scanning through the menu to pick a preferred meal to eat, the brain is equally filtering through its history of good experiences to associate each choice with a good experience so it can enable it arrive at a good decision of what to choose. So although there may be really delicious meals present on the menu, you stand a higher chance of picking that with which you had good experiences with before. Or how about the one time you climbed a tree and you fell down and broke your arm, and each other time you think of climbing a tree, you only associate this bad experience with it, so you become scared of ever climbing a tree again after this single experience. Or imagine how many reports are made of a single plane crash with images of death, destruction, and all sad images associated with it. It might be surprising to you, but hot water flowing from a tap is more likely to kill you than a plane crash. But because we are easily exposed to information that creates the fear and the danger of a plane crash, we associate more danger to it than even other things which are more likely to kill us. Confirmation bias. This is the tendency of people to look for evidence supporting their previous thoughts while rejecting every other option even though it may be full of facts. Now, have you ever found yourself in a debate with a person where no matter the facts you present, they stick to their own beliefs even though they can't back it up? You can easily find this in political or religious debates where individuals are strongly attached to their beliefs. The Dunning-Kruger Effect. Named after scientists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, who discovered that individuals with less skills at a task feel more competent at the task, while those who have sufficient skills usually underestimate themselves. So, if a person knows absolutely nothing about a given field, there is no meter or scale with which the person can use to assess himself. However, when a person goes ahead to learn just a little bit about a specific field, then the person naturally feels he knows a lot because the person has picked up on some new ideas or new skills. However, if you go deep to analyze how much the person knows, or if the person sticks to the task, then only later would you realize most of what you know is just the beginning of what you need to learn to actually become a skilled person in that field. This is the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Another version of this is also known as the imposter syndrome, where a competent person may feel like they don't really deserve to be where they are, or they don't know as much as they really do know. Anchoring bias. This is a tendency to make decisions based on the very first piece of valuable information we come across. Or in other words, first impressions. Ever heard of the phrase, there's never a second chance of creating a first impression? That is because of the anchor effect. You see, when you come across a person, the brain uses bits of information it gathers from the first experience with that person to categorize the person as a friend or a foe. And this defines the first impressions of the person. And although it's very easy to have a first impression of a person, it might take a lifetime for the person to change that impression or to show the real personality of the person. That first impression acts as an anchor around which you judge the person to create your own impression of the person. Well, let's consider this example where a doctor who wants to buy a house calls up a real estate agent and says, hey, do you have a house for sale? The real estate agent tells him, well, I have a 3-bedroom house sitting in a suburban area, and tomorrow there is somebody who's ready to pay for it, so except you're ready to pay for it right now. The doctor asks him how much for the house, and the real estate agent says, well, the person is ready to pay $40,000 for the house tomorrow. And the doctor thinks about it for a while, and he says he's ready to pay $35,000 right now for the house. And the real estate agent tells him, okay, then he's gonna sell it for him right now. Now, what the real estate agent just did is he anchored the doctor to two things. He anchored the doctor to the price, which is $40,000, and he anchored the doctor to the fact that there is somebody ready to pay for the house tomorrow. So there's pressure for the doctor to pay for the house right now. So because of that, the doctor is anchored to two things, and it makes it very difficult for him to even bargain out of it. So he pays $35,000 right now, and the real estate agent says, well, I've sold you the house. So even if the real estate agent had proposed $50,000, the doctor would have probably proposed about $40,000. If the real estate agent had proposed about $75,000, he probably had proposed higher. So this is the concept of anchoring. Now test your smartness with this trick question. So a tennis racket and a tennis ball cost $1.10, and a tennis racket costs $1 more than the tennis ball. Now, how much does a tennis ball cost? Did you say 10 cents? Well, the answer is actually 5 cents. Our cognitive bias instinctively makes us feel it's 10 cents, but if you think critically, it's actually 5 cents. Hundreds, if not thousands, of other biases exist, so we should always be on the lookout to know that we have some blind spots in our minds, how we think and how we analyze problems. So we should never immediately trust our instincts, as it could be faulty at times. But biases are not all bad. Actually, biases are remnants of our instinct for survival in dangerous times when we had to instinctively analyze for dangers and threats. They help us in some cases to develop preferences for certain things which are good for us. So today we've learned about biases, and now you know what they are, and you can know when they're working for you and when they're working against you. So thanks very much for watching, guys. You can subscribe to the channel, click your bell icon to stay in touch whenever we upload any new videos. Support us on Patreon. Stay tuned for more of our videos and keep watching. Stay blessed. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.